Hi everyone, very nice to meet you. My name is Giulia Torchio and I'm a policy analyst in the Europe's Political Economy program at the European Policy Centre in Brussels. So the biggest challenges to Europe's digital transformation are how to ensure that it's fair and human-centric for once. Then there's also the question of regulating critical and emerging technologies of the likes of AI, but also quantum computing. And then other challenges that we have are how to decouple from foreign technologies, especially coming from the US, given the current geopolitical and geoeconomic tensions. And then it would be how to fix stagnating, if not waning competitiveness, especially on the technological side of things. The way Europe is approaching these challenges is essentially within the overarching framework of its main digital strategy, which is called Europe's Digital Decade, which was passed and developed during the previous von der Leyen Commission. Within this overarching framework, we have one of the most important strategies, which is Europe's Digital Decade Policy Program, which is essentially outlining targets and strategic objectives that Europe should achieve by 2030. The issue is that within the strategy to address overarching challenges, there are also challenges. And in the specific, what we could see from the research we've done for this project, the main challenges of the Digital Decade Policy Program are the fact that there's a skew targets on objectives, very unrealistic to achieve them by 2030. There's also an issue of funding. The funding is not enough for everything. And also it's not strategically allocated for the targets and the objectives. And then there's also issues of mechanisms, especially the tools for monitoring were inherited from a previous project and from a previous strategy, and so they were not adapted to fit the strategy in a very well mannered ways. In terms of what Europe's priorities are, we've seen a shift in narrative and in strategies from the first von der Leyen Commission to the second one. And whereas in the first Commission term, she was more focused on regulating and setting out a digital rulebook to regulate technology, now the conversation seemed to have shifted towards more achieving technological sovereignty. So going back to what I was saying previously, and this idea of decoupling from the US and from non-secure tech. But it's also very much about enhanced competitiveness, even though we are fundamentally lacking a common understanding of what competitiveness is and should look like, and to what extent who's gonna benefit from competitiveness. And then also another thing that we are seeing is an increasingly proactive industrial policy agenda. So we had a return to an industrial policy agenda, which was very taboo in Brussels for many decades. And then a desire to simplify the current EU digital rulebook. So we're gonna have essentially laxer rules. And this is gonna start from the beginning of this year, end of this year. With the digital omnibus on tech.